Good evening and welcome to the Rambler Sports Locker.
You could call the last 7 days a week of broken streaks. Most of them bad, some of them really good.
It certainly wasn't an uneventful week. Tonight we've got recaps from Loyola Soccer and Volleyball.
That and more on the Rambler Sports Locker.
Thanks for tuning in to the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Connor Ruddy.
And I'm Dylan Conover. Like we said before, it was a week of broken streaks. We'll start with women's volleyball. Loyola women's volleyball continued Missouri Valley Conference play this past Monday against Drake University. The Ramblers fell 3-1, marking the end of the team's 11-game winning streak and dropping the team's record to 12-3 overall and 1-1 in the Missouri Valley Conference. The Ramblers had a strong start, handily winning the first set by 6, but struggled to maintain that intensity after losing a close second set 27-29. The third set was also close, but Loyola fell 21-25, and the Bulldogs sealed their victory with a 25-16 win in the fourth set. Juniors Morgan Reardon and Sammy Hansen led the team offensively with 12 kills apiece. Reardon also added 15 digs, marking her 6th double-double this season. Senior Maureen Carls recorded 10 kills, while senior Stephanie Canine led the defense behind Reardon with 12 digs. "We didn't execute as well as we would have liked tonight," head coach Chris Muscat said after the game. "There were some positives we will take from the match and some areas that we will work to get better at in the gym." The team will play again Friday, October 2nd at Evansville, starting at 7 p.m.
And now let's send it over to Trisha McCauley, who will give us this week's By the Numbers.
Hello, I'm Trisha McCauley, and welcome to By the Numbers. This week's number is 6. Football season is underway, and our very own Chicago Bears are off to a rough start. Quarterback Jay Cutler, who wears number 6, has missed the last few games due to a strained hamstring he got during the second game of the season. Cutler has been with the Bears since 2009 and has only led them to one postseason, back in 2010. Hopefully, the Bears can get their first win this Sunday when they take on the Oakland Raiders at home. Hockey season is just beginning, and hopefully the Blackhawks can bring home another championship to add to their 6 Stanley Cup wins. Just last year, the Blackhawks won the title, beating the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games. They also won the Cup back in 1934, 38, 61, 2010, and 2013. The Blackhawks aren't the only ones with 6 championships. The Chicago Bulls also have 6 titles. Those championships were won in 1991, 92, 93, 96, 97, and 98. And superstar Michael Jordan was the finals MVP all 6 years. The Bulls were founded in 1966, and hopefully during this upcoming season, they can add another championship to the list. The Chicago Cubs have a history filled with great players, and 6 of their numbers are retired. Ernie Banks, also known as Mr. Cub, wore the number 14, and it was retired in 1982. Billy Williams, who was a 6-time All-Star, wore the number 26, had his number retired in 1987. In 2003, number 10, Ron Santos' number was retired, and in 2005, number 23, Ryan Sandberg's number was retired. The number 31 was retired in 2009 and worn by Ferguson Jenkins and Greg Maddox. In Loyola sports, the women's team added 6 new freshmen to their roster, including number 6, Morgan Grushin, who has been having a great season so far. In the very first game of the season, she got a double-double with 10 kills and 17 digs. The Ramblers have a 12-3 overall record for the season. I'm Trisha McCauley, and thanks for joining me on this week's By the Numbers. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Trisha.
Hopefully the Bears can get their number 6 back soon so we can start throwing some passes for 6.
We both know that's not going to happen.
CONPO is a Filipino organization that holds an annual intercollegiate football tournament called Rice Bowl. Rice Bowl consists of both a men and women's team, and they compete with other schools in the area, such as UIC, DePaul, and NIU. The goal of Rice Bowl is to foster communication with Asian American organizations in the Midwest. Team captain Michael Reyes has been a part of Rice Bowl for 3 years and thinks the friendly competition is a great experience to unite Filipino-American cultures and traditions.
I'm really excited this year to get to play Rice Bowl again because it's a good opportunity to hang out with the guys and just play football and also meet some friends that we get to see every year from the other schools. And
This year, the tournament will take place on October 14th.
Another winning streak was snapped over the weekend when the men's soccer team lost a heartbreaker to the Bradley University Braves. The Ramblers were on a 5-game unbeaten streak where they won 3 and tied 2 going into this match. The game was tied 0-0 until a handball in the box was called on the Ramblers with 2 seconds remaining in regulation. The Braves capitalized on the error and scored the game-winning goal. Senior goalkeeper Tim Dobrovolsky was seconds away from his 18th shutout.
Although men's soccer had their win streak broken last weekend, they broke another team's back on Tuesday when they defeated the Red Line rival DePaul. The game was scoreless at the end of the first half, but the Ramblers scored 3 goals in 12 minutes in the second. Goalkeeper Tim Dobrovolsky, robbed of his 18th shutout a couple days before, didn't let this one get away from him, and he secured his 18th shutout of his career, which puts him 5 away from setting the Loyola record. Loyola hadn't beaten DePaul since 2008, and they hold the all-time series with 17 wins to 14 losses and 4 ties.
Loyola men's soccer club team has continued to show improvement this past 4 years. Here's Madeline Kenney with the latest success.
Loyola's men's club soccer team is becoming a rising star. Manuel Sanchez says this is the club's most successful start in the past decade. According to Sanchez, the team has been building the program for the past 4 years.
We've come a long way, actually. The first year I was here, we lost the majority of our games, but we had a huge freshman class come into the soccer club, and we got it into our minds that we were going to be successful.
The team's success has sparked interest in newcomers, but tryouts were intense because majority of the squad consists of upperclassmen.
This year we got about 70 players come try out for us, and we actually only included 4 new members from the original team from last year.
Loyola looks to improve on last year's success and is determined to make it farther in the tournament this year.
This year's expectations are really great for us. We expect to actually reach a larger stage in regionals than we did last year. And this year we're expecting to go through maybe semifinals, even fight for that spot to go to nationals.
The Ramblers are currently 6-0 on the season and look to continue to build off that positive momentum throughout the season.
The team's really excited about our chances after starting the season so successful, and with the drive to go through to all the way to nationals, we hope, and get Loyola club soccer out on the map at least, because we weren't that much noticed until we started winning last year, and hopefully we'll increase it and make it a sort of like a culture that our soccer team's really good for upcoming years.
Loyola will host Purple Line rivals Northwestern at Loyola Soccer Park on October 7th at 8 p.m. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Madeline Kenney.
The men's club team looks to advance on its undefeated season and wants fans to come out and show their support.
Patrick Kane is making headlines this offseason, but the news isn't about his most recent Stanley Cup or his play on the ice. He is accused of allegedly sexually assaulting a woman at his off-season Buffalo home. However, he continues to attend preseason training and play in preseason games. We're going to send it to the Ramble to discuss Kane's standing with the Blackhawks and the NHL.
Hi, welcome to this week's Ramble. I'm your host, Bridget Murphy. I'm here with last week's winner, Madeline Kenney, and the challenger, Alfredo Rodriguez. Since joining the Blackhawks, Patrick Kane has been no stranger to off-the-ice controversy. But he's been out of trouble for a few years now, and we thought he'd grown and matured and become the adult we always knew he could be. However, he's found himself in trouble again for an alleged sexual assault at his home in Buffalo, New York. We're here to discuss whether he should still be playing in training and preseason games, even though the case is still under investigation. Alfredo, you start.
I think that Kane shouldn't be able to play, and I think that he should be banned either by the Blackhawks or the league when it starts, like if the investigation continues, because he hasn't matured yet. I think like that back the incident he had in 2012, he was very young, and we used to say that, hey, he's too young, so like let him mature. But the years have gone by, and like it's clear that he still hasn't reached the level of maturity that is expected from a National Hockey League player.
Maddie?
Well, you have to remember who Patrick Kane is playing for. He's playing for the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks are part of the original 6 hockey teams.
and they are known to, within the NHL, to do things the right way. I mean, just look at Coach Q's mustache, am I right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, there's a legal clause, Article 18, that says that the NHL as a franchise has the right to put any player on paid leave if they're going through an ongoing investigation that could potentially harm the reputation of the NHL. And so the NHL hasn't done that yet because of who Patrick Kane is playing for. You know, the Blackhawks, if it was a situation, they would have benched Patrick Kane by now. And right now, you know, Patrick Kane, it's a very, the investigation is a very tricky investigation because a lot of the evidence is very inconclusive. You know, they found Patrick Kane's DNA under her fingernails and like on her shoulder, but they didn't find it below the waist. And so without all this, it's right now it's a very he said, she said kind of thing. And so since there's not inconclusive evidence, or since the evidence is inconclusive, it's hard to say whether or not Patrick Kane really did it. It's all alleged right now. Okay, and Alfredo?
I think that despite despite if whether he did it or not, he should the Hawks shouldn't let him play because it's obviously something that creates up to some extent discomfort in his teammates, in the dressing room. The players probably they don't feel that everything is going as smooth as it should, and it's so early. It's so early right now because the season haven't even started, and the team should. Right now, it's a moment for the team to find themselves to bond again after the summer, and that's why I think that this creates a huge discomfort in the team, and psychologically it can really affect the rest of the team.
Maddie, closing comments?
Well, you know, in a court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty. And so right now, Patrick Kane is considered innocent because no claims he hasn't been charged with anything. And so I also just want to point out the fact that at training camp, in a press conference, he spoke about the investigation for the first time, and he was very confident that the facts will be brought to light. And so I think that says Patrick Kane's confidence kind of shows that he feels like he's in a good place within the investigation.
Okay, so in times like these, it's important to think about the victim and her family, but there are no rules that have been broken as of yet. And the NHL commissioner has said that Patrick Kane is in good standing with the league. So I'm going to go with Maddie on this one. He's got the rules behind him at this point. And of course, everything is still alleged. So that's it for this week's Ramble. We'll send it back to you at the desk.
While the investigation is still underway, Kane has not been charged with a crime at this point.
Well, the Ramblers had some streaks broken this week, but hey, at least the Cubs are still winning.
You know, Dylan, Back to the Future predicted the Cubs win the World Series this year.
Well, it certainly hurts a bit to see them with the success while our White Sox are fighting for last place in their division, but hey, you know, the Cubs need a title badly. It's been 107 years. The last time they won a World Series, some countries were still using swords to fight. Let that sink in.
Definitely. I think it's safe to say that everyone would be happy. Not baseball fans, but everyone would be happy if the streak was broken.
Yeah, it's been a bad week for Chicago.
Speaking about bad weeks, Derrick Rose. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 238 straight days without an injury, but that's gone.
Think about that.
Who knew that?
238 days.
Yeah, it's
pathetic.
It's been rough. It's been rough.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Connor Ruddy.
And I'm Dylan Conover. Tune into next week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker for an up-to-date look at Loyola sports and beyond.
And as always, don't forget to turn out the lights.